Welcome back to WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are positively taking the Maryland Crab Cake Tour out on the road. We're going to be at Costas this week. We are going to be, we were at Fadley's last week, had a great conversation with Bill Cole, talking about the future of the city. Had Mac Campbell, who runs the Baltimore Convention Center, who was just a phenomenal guest. We argued deviled eggs, believe it or not. We also had Jeff Ratno down talking about all things development in the Inner Harbor and what developers really go through financially. And he runs the community association in Federal Hill. So it was just a great conversation. Please go check it out. It's all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Win Donation. This guy will be here on Thursday. Pre-game show. I hope we don't get too many of those because I don't love these Thursday night games. I don't like anybody. I think the only one that likes this is Roger Goodell. And Roger Goodell spent the day in the same place that this guy was. Dennis Koulatsos will be here on Thursday, getting you ready for the game. Also be here on Sunday, hopefully not licking our wounds going into a little mini-buy in L.A. and all that. He was on the sunny side of the stadium on Sunday, and game was going okay for a little while, right? I mean, Ravens have only been behind 28 minutes all year, Dennis Koulatsos. I had the misfortune of going and getting some carry-out food. My wife's in Paris, and my wife was at the game in Frankfurt. She saw a Colts victory. I told her, I said, you got more Colts victories in Germany yesterday than I had in all of 1982. Yeah, you know that's true, right? I listened to sports radio, and God bless Brent Harris and whoever the young lady is over at WBAL after the game. I listened to 30 minutes of that, and I thought to myself, I love you. I love Coons Ford. I love all my sponsors. But if all you ganged up on me and said, you're going to start taking phone calls again, I'd say, you got the wrong guy. Yeah, I'm going to go sell cars for Dennis or something, learn transmissions or something. I don't know. How are you? I mean, you've seen a lot of things.
Of course I have. When I stay even keeled, and that's for the one wild thing is, and I've got to really watch the temperature. The sunny side of the stadium's got to be 30 degrees warmer than a
always
cold
has
side.
been. Always
I
has
had
been.
to take clothes off. I didn't put my hoodie on until about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But that aside, I tend to stay up with social media for at least 24 hours after a loss because the sky's falling. My goodness gracious. We went from being a Super Bowl contender to now, again, the same old. Harbaugh can't coach. The OC's terrible. The defense isn't what they thought they were, yada, yada, yada. And the vocal minority is out in bunches right now, Ness.
They're 7-3.
Come on.
They have had a problem closing close games. And that's more than a trend now. And that does speak to coaching and the kinds of players they have and how many times we're going to see Marlon Humphrey and Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson and Ronnie Stanley, who are all lumped together now. Patrick Queen's going to get out of here soon enough. But like that group has been a part of all of this, going back to Yonda, going back to Joe Flacco. Like literally, those guys all played with Flacco, right? Like so, this era in winning games, closing games, and beating the snot out of teams on certain weeks. I mean, 37-3. There's nothing, that's all part of the body of work as well. But you and I are singing a different song than we were last week if Marlon Humphrey and Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Moses aren't going to play. And specifically Moses and Stanley, that if this is their tackle situation, and it took me 2 hours with Luke and 2 cups of Royal Farms coffee, the good stuff, the Jamaican, for me to say to Luke, they can't win the Super Bowl with Jordan Falele or Daniel Falele and Patrick McCary playing tackle. Like I'm going to have a hard time believing they're going to win the Super Bowl like that.
Well, they may not win, but they can possibly get there. Patrick Mahomes got there without his 2 starting tackles a few years back, but then the Tampa Bay defense took it to him. But Nestor, I don't think this is a problem specific and unique to the Ravens. It's just the league. It's set up that way. 60 minutes is a very long time. I tweeted that out after the Ravens went up. Like, folks, we got 55 minutes to go. It's a long, long way. Love the start, but your buddy Scott Hansen on the NFL Red Zone, he calls it the witching hour, right? The fourth quarter, the last few minutes, when he said when wins become losses and losses become wins. I just think it's today's modern NFL. I think the team that gets the ball last wins, Nestor. The team that's winning with 2 minutes left ends up losing in almost every single contest.
Well, I mean, this one had it all, right? I mean, Kyle
Did.
Hamilton with this incredible play, Lamar with the pick that went up in the air that just is, good fortune for the Browns. Um, Blocking a field goal and then the kid misses the extra point, but it's the game winner. And the injuries for the Ravens, certainly a story. But the bigger story might be this, and Luke awakened me. I spit my coffee up because I went to bed Sunday night not realizing this. I wrote my column this. I'm planning my week. I'm going to be at Costas Tuesday. My wife's in Paris. We got a game Thursday, so it's a little weird. Next weekend, there's no game, which is kind of good and fun and weird. I don't have any lawn to mow or anything. But Luke said to me, hey, Ness, if they lose on Thursday night, you'll be watching the Steelers and the Browns on Sunday play for first place. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of quick. I thought we were the best team. I thought we were the runaway. I thought we were getting the bye. I thought Tony
Yeah.
Romo said, and all of a sudden that's how far away you are. And all of this lip service we pay to best division in football, like all that lip service, and that's fine. But that's where we are now, that 11 wins might win this division at this point, the way these teams are beating each other up. This week, two are going to beat two others up. I mean, two of these teams are going to get losses, and Cincinnati's either going to be in the cellar, which is kind of
Right.
crazy, where if they lose here on Thursday, which isn't crazy, or we're all going to be bunched up sitting around, huddling around, watching the lousy ass Steelers try to, strip the ball from Deshaun Watson to win 16-13 or something like that on Sunday. And I mean, it is a Bermuda quadrangle at this point because the Ravens aren't that much better than all the rest of them because the record says so.
Well, Ness, we were all talking about the Ravens possibly being 9-2. In fact, I did caution listeners and fans and friends that we were talking about the Browns and the Bengals like it was one game or one series. It's the conversation should have just been about the Browns, period. And I think the Bengals also experienced it on their end, having lost to the Houston Texans, right? I mean, perhaps the Bengals and the Ravens were fast forwarded to Thursday, not paying enough attention to a Browns team with a depleted offensive line or a Texans team with a rookie quarterback.
Thursday night, Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Kyle Hamilton, those guys played 78 snaps on Sunday. They played 78 snaps. I said to Luke, how's this going to look when they're on snap 148 on Thursday night? And that goes for the Bengals too. And I didn't look at their sheets, and their offense played a lot because Burrow was out there a lot, and they were getting picked at the end. I mean, they snatched the feed. I mean, they were home game too, right? Like both of these
The
teams look
witching.
at each other and say, "Oh my God," right? And hey, I took Cleveland with the points in my Hollywood casino picks, and I was like beating on I had a bad week last week. I'm having an awful week this week. I was 73, 61, and 4 against the spread. We're going to be up at Hollywood Casino December 1st. And my man Christian Horton's coming out next week to Pappas in Parkville to do the Maryland Crab Cake Tour on Tuesday. But I took Cleveland and with 6 points. And I said, I think the Ravens will win. I just think they're going to win 23-21 or 24-20 or what. But I don't think they're going to win 37-3. I don't think this is one game. I didn't think this was an easy game. I thought the Browns were at least playing better. They pitched a shutout last week, right? And we knew the defense would be good. I just didn't know we'd be doing it without Stanley and without Morgan Moses. And also the fact that the offense couldn't stay on the field really tilted the field toward the defense being burned up and burned out. And Luke brought up that game, one of my final appearances at the podium, where I asked Lamar and John about running the ball 21 times against Minnesota in overtime, what that does to Thursday for both of these teams. And Cincinnati's got to get on a plane and come here Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about the defense on Thursday night and how much they're going to be on the field because the offense doesn't feel like it's going to be able to sustain drives and do the kinds of things that they want to do with a full unit.
Yeah, you make great points, Nestor. Look, top two defenses in the NFL. Who would have thought we would have seen 64 points? None of us, right? We thought it'd be a defensive struggle, low scoring type of a game. Who would have thought that 2020 Deshaun Watson would have shown up versus 2022 Deshaun Watson? So all these things factored in. It's a 60-minute game. it was wild being at the stadium, and the Ravens are definitely right back down to earth now. The same old questions that were lingering when Greg Roman was here, they're back up again, and they beat the Bengals Thursday night. Guess what? We're back up to being front runners. Lose to the Bengals, though, Nestor. Look out.
Well, you said same old. What are the questions you have for Todd Monken or for Lamar Jackson at this point? I mean, I don't think it's as easy as saying, well, the offensive line is different, but I know
Yeah.
what that does, and I know how I felt when Ronnie Stanley went down 4 years ago. And I know in the early part of the game, Dennis, the Ravens were zigging and zagging, and Keaton Mitchell, right? Go back and watch those plays again. And I know you love to do this. Go back and watch the first 10 offensive plays that they had and just watch Ronnie Stanley and see if he's winning or losing his battles. Everybody, I had Aaron Schatz on last week. All the DVOA guys will, and he's not, and I'm not beating on him. He's injured now, right? I mean, but Myles Garrett was moving 5 times faster than him on every single one of those plays. And Garrett was getting up the field, and they were going behind. They were going underneath with Keaton Mitchell and Dinkin and Duncan because they were having a lot of success early on, right? But Myles Garrett was just handily beating Ronnie Stanley. And, you don't get by on reputation in December and January. You have to go out there and play. And TJ Watt's coming. The San Francisco 49ers, with all that they do defensively, is coming. They're going to have some challenges here. They really are on the road, too.
Ronnie Stanley has been injured, Nestor. Never mind the 3 ankle surgeries. He's been having knee problems this year as well. The last 2 or 3 games, I've watched Ronnie Stanley. So I know he can't anchor. He just can't set his feet. He's been playing in pain. We saw them shift tight ends to his side. We saw Patrick Ricard playing significant snaps and try to double team and slow down Myles Garrett. But Ronnie Stanley's a shadow of what he used to be. It's a shame. He'd been beat up. His legs are compromised. And there was even some talk earlier in the week. I know they can save $8 million next year in cap space if they move away from him. But there was even talk. It's been talk in the past weeks about his availability, and hard to see him finishing out the year as a starting left tackle.
If you put number 34 on, would it help him?
You know what? I don't know if his hamstring got tweaked again. I don't know if he missed some blocking assignments, but that's for the coaching staff to answer as to why number 34 was MIA in the second half. They could have certainly have used the speed around the edge like they did in the first quarter.
I want to see some old pictures of you in an EVT jersey wearing that 34. Come on.
I got to send them to you, man. I got it.
I definitely, man. We got to share. They should be out on Twitter on the Sunday Sports Voice now. Come on.
I have pictures. It used to be one of my profile pics. I know I have it, so I'll send it to you. But I had the neck roll too. I had the neck roll. I was just like I was a mini Earl Campbell. I had no moves. I would just run. I was just like Earl Campbell, just straight ahead.
My buddy Herman Kolb wore that on my team back in. Johnny Rollo's in all my pictures. I played football. John Rollo's on my team.
That's great, man.
He's the big guy. He's the one in the back standing. He looks like a coach.
That's great.
He was kind of like the guy in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The guy that played the role, that he was just so much bigger and better, just blew everybody up. That's how we were in 1978, 1979. Dennis Koulatsos is here. He's over Coons Baltimore Ford. He's having some good times. What's going on over there? We had Veterans Day, right? And I did a big segment on MC Vet, McVet, and giving to them. They help folks here and doing good things. But I know you had a big sale going on. I've been doing all sorts of fun segments the last week or two. It's doing a lot with the Maryland Stadium Authority. But you're selling cars. That's what I'm watching football, apparently.
But ran into Al Bunbury, veteran, of course. Love him. And one of my guys, Norm Dowdy, who's been with me for 35 years. He's a veteran, Vietnam veteran. So we just had a ball honoring our vets and saving them and a lot of our customers money. We have some 0 for 36, 0% for 36 months, 0 for 48 month offerings for a lot of models. So a lot of inventory, Nestor. It's a great time to come out and see us and save some money. Business is very good.
All right. Well, he keeps talking about the hybrids and about saving money, and
it's good.
Going past Royal Farms and getting less gas. I know they don't want to hear that, but that's the hybrid world out there. More fried chicken is what it. By the way, can I free plug for Royal Farms? My birthday was October 14th. Okay. So my birthday comes, and I don't want to say I don't like my birthday, Dennis, but it's like social media and I get a lot. I mean, thousands, and I'm blessed, but thousands of people reach to me, and I feel compelled to reach back to every one of them because some of them I know, some of them are fans, but some of them, I mean, they're people I've touched in my life, and I touch a lot of people. So I'm a little overwhelmed, but Royal Farms sends you free chicken on your birthday. They give you
Oh,
two-piece
that's
chicken.
awesome.
Two-piece chicken and Western fries, right? So it's like a $9 value, right? $6 when it's on sale, but that's fine. So it's on my app. I got an email last week. They're like, dude, you got 7 days. Like your birthday was 3 weeks ago. Get in here. And it got so I got chicken for the game. So that's what I did. I had two-piece with Western fries, some ketchup. It was perfect. So,
Limited time offer. You got to take advantage of it.
well, I mean, I got to take care of but less gas because we're going to Coons, Baltimore.
But you know
Ford.
what? I'm sure they'll have I don't know if they have charging stations there, EV charging stations. So that's another way to attract and keep
They
customers.
do at the bigger one, like
There
the
you
one on
go.
Route 40, the new ones,
There you
like the
go.
one up in Aberdeen, because
That's
I've
smart.
seen them. Well, I mean, my kid has a hybrid. You know what I mean? My kid has that thing going on.
Go get your fast charge, get some Mofo chicken, some fries. You're good to go, man. Gas and
See,
go,
now
or
you're
charge and
talking.
go.
Well,
Look,
you
charge and go.
never a loser, man. Around here, it's Baltimore, right? Even listen, here's what. Even when we lose the way we did, we get to go to Costas and have
Okay.
crab cakes this week,
Look,
and that makes things a little better.
I was entertained. Call me crazy. I 30, 33, 31, the last second game. I'd rather see that than 37 nothing blowout. To be
Well,
frank
here's
with you,
what,
the fan
something
in
a
me.
little behind the scenes for Dennis Koulatsos, real world, the real world. According to when the Ravens lose, Dennis goes to WNST sponsors and Baltimore Positive to places like the Beaumont. What'd you get at the Beaumont? What did you get? Any good?
Well, I had fried chicken.
Ha ha! Did you?
They do a great job. Fried chicken with mashed potatoes, broccolini, a couple of carrots. My better half, she had a steak. She had a New York strip. Um, had a fried lobster tail for an appetizer and
Oh, that
deviled
thing's
eggs.
unbelievable.
And again, the
Oh,
service, the
you had
people
deviled
there.
eggs?
Yeah, I love deviled eggs. Are you kidding me? I'm a Baltimorean, hon. I love deviled eggs.
I
And they put
had.
crab meat and they put crab meat on top of them, so they jack them up. And I tell you what, we got great seats facing Frederick Road and great wait staff, great people there. It was fantastic.
I like that their house salad. They have really delicious bacon, like $1 million bacon they put on
They
there.
do. They do.
But that fried lobster's
Ah,
ridiculously
it's money.
delicious. And I
It is
can't
money.
believe, like you mentioned, one of my favorite things in the world, their fried lobster with a thing that I just won't eat. And if anybody watches the segment with me and Bill Cole and with Matt Campbell from Baltimore Convention Center, Bill Cole's got like a deviled eggs thing. Like he came to Fadley's about 6 months ago. He'd never been to Fadley's. He's like, I've been by here a million times. Like, get in here. He came, he's like, this place is great. I can't believe I've never been here. And the thing that he thought was great, it wasn't the crab cakes. It wasn't it's been there for 200 years. It wasn't the muskrat or the raccoon or the oysters or the beer or the fresh fish or the crabs, the deviled eggs. He could not.
Deviled eggs.
Damie kept bringing them. He kept eating them, and it grossed me out because I just don't eat deviled eggs. So I started making fun of it. And then this time around, he showed up Friday morning, and they had a big deviled egg love in, and I got like skeeved and heaved, and so we had a really big debate about. And everybody, my wife loves them. Is there
Oh,
anybody else out there that feels this way about macaroni
no,
salad, potato salad the way I do?
no,
Tuna salad. I don't eat any of that.
you stand alone. Another one of your sponsors, State Fair, they have great deviled eggs. They put candied bacon on top of them. Man, really, really good.
That's the candy bacon they put across the street at the
Yes,
Beaumont.
sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a
So
lot of fun, man.
you know what? Hold on a minute.
You
I'm
got me.
doing
See, I'm a Frederick Road type of a guy. Lunch, dinner, that's where you'll find me at. Frederick Road.
so
All those
I'm do,
restaurants,
yeah,
fantastic.
I'm doing the show there on the 5th of December, okay,
Yep.
at State Fair. I don't like deviled eggs, but if you were to say to me, eggs and bacon, right? Like, I mean, if you put it to me that way,
That's okay.
like it's a creative take on eggs and
We'll
bacon,
we'll get some. We'll get some for you.
I'm not going to promise you that. I mean, I can't promise you that I'm going to eat a deviled egg.
Eat a half. Eat half of one. You'll have a lot of fun with it.
Listen, it's not like I've never had a deviled egg. I just don't.
And also,
I told this story already this week in the air, but I'll tell it to you real briefly because you're from an old world family. Did you have any nasty old Greek aunt that made you eat stuff you didn't want to eat? And like when you're right,
course.
so
Then you know what I learned. But see, over the years, I learned to love that kind of stuff. There's nothing I dislike. There isn't anything I dislike.
I told you I went to Houston to see Springsteen last year, and I had breakfast with my aunt, who's in her 80s, who's from Venezuela and lives in Houston with my cousin. And I went out to lunch with her to try to get stuff out of her. And all I could get, like by the end, is I'm sitting there eating breakfast, and I'm like, Tia Angela, I hated you when I was a kid. Why'd you not like me? Why'd you not like me? I said, you make me eat stuff that I hated it, and nobody else. You need to toughen up. I feed this to you, make you strong. I'm like, okay, But so even all these years later, she's still unrepentant about torturing me, With my father, it was the plantain, platano, platano, platano. So I hear all of that. I love plantains now. I hated them then. Oh my God, I hated them.
See,
All I wanted was a French fry from McDonald's or White Coffee Pot Jr.,
See, my thing was rice pudding. I used to hate rice pudding, but now there's nothing like fresh made
What?
rice pudding with or without raisins.
What did you not like about rice pudding? I even love rice pudding.
I used to hate it. As a kid, I hated it, but now I love it.
I always say to my wife, because we'll get it, I have a lot of Greek sponsors, and they have delicious rice pudding, but I always think it needs, I like it with raisins in it.
My mother she's got to make some rice pudding for you. She's amazing.
That would be an honor.
Now, see, you got me hungry. I might run down after our segment to the state fair, get myself my go-to there, deviled eggs and a breakfast burrito. And have a great burrito.
I'm not having any deviled eggs with you. Now
you are.
I don't want to promise this, but the bacon, it moves me. It moves me.
Well, you'll have bacon. We'll just throw some eggs in it for you. It's the same thing.
You're gonna have to talk me out of chicken and waffles.
You're Baltimorean, brother. You got
a little while since I had shrimp and grits.
Come on now. Come on now.
Dennis Koulatsos is selling cars, and he's doing sports radio. He'll be here from 3 until 5, doing the Sunday Sports Voice. We now air that on Thursday from 3 until 5. I hope to be a part of that as well. The Cincinnati Bengals are coming to town this week, and we are licking our purple wounds. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking deviled eggs. Baltimore positive. Stay with us.